appraisal report, they are trying, I know what the appraiser does. They normally try to appraise as close to the value you're selling for.
Most of the time they come in at value.
Most of the time.
Yes, most of the time,
But at some cases, you do have some cases where it's a little different.
I know, so, I have over, I also have under, but the thing is, what I'm saying is, it's always the case, just like what you said, is what the buyer willing to pay. If, I'm saying stuck with 1 million, maybe the other appraiser, appraised for 1.05, there will be difference. So if you're telling them that it's not really representing the true value, even though we tell them, but it's rules, I understand that.
We're not telling them what the value is, we're just telling them we have knowledge of an appraisal that was done.
Yeah.
I mean, we cannot decide because we're not the appraisers especially if there's financing involved, so we can't just say this is the value, right?
Well, I think
Just
the way
say
Claudia
this is the
said
knowledge
it was
that we have.
appropriate.
I'm sorry?
The way Claudia said it and characterized it was, I think, really appropriate and important. That the appraisal is looking back in time. It's just like when we're talking about market statistics and so forth, how the market is, we gotta have 3 months or 4 months of the same thing to make it change, right? So it's looking backwards.
The appraisers do 3 months back or 6. I got 3.
No, it depends, it's more than 3 months.
Oh.
It depends if you can't find the right comp, because when I first did my market analysis on this property, it was in a completely different condition than it is today. 49-year rental. They did not do things the way a homeowner would do the things, but we've corrected all of those things. Duplicate reports on everything, pest, roof, home, sewer lateral, all of it, 2 reports, before and after. Plus all the work was done by a general contractor. So this is gonna have additional value for that buyer. So even if they do see the appraisal before they write their offer, they're gonna write over it.
On an appraisal, the appraisal belongs to whomever paid
for
for
it.
the appraisal. That's just an opinion of that person at the time, because you're not gonna use that same appraiser when you go to, unless they're paying cash. So I think that whole appraisal piece sort of goes by the wayside when they go to their lender and the lender chooses.
I think it's not mainly about the appraisal, it's mostly about if you know of something and you have a report of something, you need to disclose. That's the
Right.
only thing I think we're talking about.
Okay.
But I think it's really important that the agent that's representing the buyer that becomes aware of an appraisal, I hope to God they have experience.
They have experience.
That they can explain this in the proper way, the way Claudia did, and the way Melrose did, right? But imagine the newbie agent. Anyway, it could be a problem.
Okay.
So thank you, everybody, for helping me with that.
Let's be to death, I guess. One more question. From you, what's the appropriate, you think, or do we think that is it appropriate to do appraisal? How, if you give them like your house was 1.8, but the seller thinks, oh no, it's 1.9, I'll do appraisal. That's one question, is it appropriate to do it? The second question is that if you're trying to do it, keep it to yourself, otherwise I have to disclose. Will that work in that incident?
I would never take that second
No,
stand.
never do that.
Never take the second stand. On the first stand, first point that you made, what was it?
Well, it's more of a, how do I, cause it kinda connects with the second part, which. you
They
asked
wanna
me.
do an appraisal, let them do it.
Because.
Yeah, because they're not agreeing
Yes.
with
The
your
price.
assessment.
No, because sometimes you have a property that is so hard to figure out the value.
This
of-
one
from
was
our-
that.
From our CMA,
Uh-huh.
right? We look at nothing is close by, or something was like a year ago, and it's
Condition was
hard.
different.
It's hard, right? So in that case, when you try to explain that, you try to come up with the numbers, you use all the programs we have and come up with numbers. And the seller is saying, well, I feel it's worth this, but you're giving me this. And you could suggest to them, say, you know what, let's get a third opinion. If you feel it's worth this much, why don't we just go out, are you willing to spend the $600, $700, $800 that it's going to take to get an appraisal done? We can have a formal appraisal, and then you are satisfied, then it may still come back. It may not come back at 818, it may come in at 165 or something. At least you know you had a formal appraisal done, and this is what this person, this is all they do, all day long, is telling you, this is the value of your home at this time in the current condition that it's in. Cause you've given them everything you've done to the house if you did anything at all. So suggestion would be, yes, maybe you should have an appraisal done, and that way we can determine where we wanna go. You want 1.8, the appraiser coming in at 1.6, why don't we go halfway? If you are so strongly feeling this is your value, let's go halfway and let's put it on the market and see what kind of activity we
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
So you have to know how to,
Finesse.
move the
Right.
conversation.
Yeah, it's just, again, we're just trying to beat that to death.
But never the second option.
Yeah.
Good.
I can't suppress. I thought about that too, Harv, believe me. I thought,
So-
oh God.
So if they like, no, I want a new appraiser, how would you cope with that? How would, it's like, okay, if you do that, then I'm gonna have to disclose.
You tell them the same thing as if, I have a fiduciary to do, you listen to property, I have a fiduciary, so I have knowledge of this.
Okay.
So now that I have knowledge of the appraisal, if it happens to be a dual situation, we would have to disclose it. And when you take the listing, I'm gonna put an addendum, separate addendum, explaining that situation, and have you sign it, so that you are aware that I told you about this situation, that this appraisal will have to be disclosed to the buyer.
And I don't think the seller will have a problem saying, don't show appraisal.
They
If
asked.
They want that.
They asked, if I get this, do I have to
There's
produce?
a reason to get the appraisal.
I said, probably.
I mean, that's the basic reason to get the appraisal.
Yeah, you want this price
Want the
and you
price
want,
to
you
change,
have it,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Well, there,
But the problem is if it doesn't get appraised to what they want, then do they want that or not? See, if the property doesn't get
Well,
appraised.
But they can list the
here's-
property
here's
for whatever
where-
they want.
Here's where your professional skills come in,
Yes.
because here's where you would have to explain to the seller. We have an appraisal. Since we got that appraisal, the market could have complete stop.
Mhm.
Different things happen in our real estate market every day.
Yes.
So you cannot hold on to one thing all the time, but I just want you to know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is the value right now. We can list your home for this value right now, but tomorrow, if we get flooded with short sales or flooded with short foreclosure, that's a whole different bucket.
For an earthquake.
Awesome, God forbid.
No, but I'm just saying, I
Yeah.
tell my clients this all the time.
I said that, you have to at that point do something different, right? So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we may have to renegotiate this price, or you may get an offer that's lower than what you're asking. You have to, I'm trying to prepare you mentally for all the different scenarios that can happen while this home is being listed. So you have to have that conversation with your client.
totally, makes sense.
So, I heard a client say, okay, I'm looking into silver, and that's the price I want to list, but I said that it is not very dependable on those numbers. Even though if you look at it, the CLO or reference is different in price as well. And I said that, they don't have a particular person know exactly what the location is. I won't mingle all the property in Mission, San Jose area to other areas, right? I said that they just mingle whatever the properties, not necessarily with the real fact. But, a lot of the seller, it depends on those, that they look at.
So what I do is I take it with me. So I have the 4 numbers sometimes. I have the Zillow, I have the Redfin, I have the Realtor.com, I have the RPR, and I have my CMA from Paragon MLS. So I would show up with 5 different things, and I pull it all up, and I say, okay, the consumer looks at this, the consumer looks at this, the consumer looks at this. So you have 3 different consumers, and you have 3 different pricing right here. You go here, there's another, well, the RPR the consumer will get, but, so for us, we work between that RPR number and we work between what we have, the listings that are actually accumulated in our system, that we are able to pull those numbers based on, the certain criteria, which is neighborhoods, schools. We can pull that. When you go to the RPR, the Redfin and Zip, you can't pull it that way. You're getting whatever number they come up, whatever the RVM is, or whatever number they come up with, right? So you just have to speak to them like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Even though you're bluffing it, just talk like you know what you're talking about, and go through. Did I answer your question?
Oh, of course.
Well, the interesting thing about this house, on the same street, about a month ago, another agent listed one in a better location on the other end of Purcell, closer to where the walkway is there, you know, the
On
brook
the
there.
flip side,
Exactly, 1 bedroom smaller, so it's a 3-2, smaller lot, and she got 1,812,000. Well, I've got a bigger lot, 1 more bedroom, and I think my condition is, the same, I need a new kitchen and, you know, but still, it's ready to go. We'll see how we do, I don't know, pricing is hard right now, there's not enough to look at.
okay, so I have a question for you guys. What is 1 or 2 questions that you would ask if you were doing a buyer consultation? What are the 1 or 2 questions? Give me 1 or 2 questions. Okay, give me 1 or 2 questions. Lita, give me 1 or 2 questions. You guys.
You'd ask who?
Why do you wanna
questions
buy?
that you would ask if you were doing a buyer consultation?
Well, I'll ask them, you know, what is your expectation?
That's 1 question.
Yes.
What's the next question? I'm gonna write it down.
Why do you want to buy?
Hold on.
What is your motivation to
Hold on.
buy a home?
All right, that's 2, hold on. Expectation. I would say in 1 way, and then why do you wanna buy? Is that
Yeah,
what you said?
why do you wanna buy a home? What's your expectation?
No, okay, Lita said what is the expectation, you gave me 2 just now, what was it? Why?
Why do you wanna buy a home?
And then what was it?
And then I would follow that up with what is your expectation?
Okay. I don't think that's what
What's
you
your
said.
time?
Number 2 and then come back.
So I think that falls into that.
So what is your price range?
I go for what's your criteria, because if they have come to me, it's clearly they are like looking for a property. For me, it's like, what's your criteria?
Right.
Then accordingly, I'll move them around.
Okay, so criteria, time frame,
School district,
How was the family situation for you?
come on, that's very important, right? Some people just move to a particular neighborhood just
Yeah,
because of school.
I mean, depending on how young their kids
Yeah.
are, their commute.
okay, so instead of saying school district, give me another word.
Another. Do your kids
Neighborhood.
go to school?
Where are you looking?
Do you have young children in school, is what I would want to know, and that's on my home wish list.
Yes, so I
Because
would
then that
say,
tells me
I
where
would
the-
say, where are you looking?
Right.
And then you would say, is school districts important to you?
Right.
I mean, you can ask it that way as well, instead of saying, do you have little children or whatever, because you never know what the family situation is. So I would say, is school districts important to you?
And a bedroom and a bath important to you. The family criteria, for me, that is more important because, and directions, that is another thing
Yeah.
which cuts down so many of their.
You know, interesting
good
you
call.
say that. I had
It'd take a long
I
time
had a
to sell
broker
tickets
tour
to that.
once, and an agent from another office brought their buyer with me, and the buyer was from India, and she didn't like the house because the kitchen was in the wrong place. It should have been in the northwest corner or some nonsense. Anyway, nonsense to me. To her, it was important. And I said, why is that important to you? Because I was really curious. I was young in the real estate business. And she said, well, because my mother. I go, oh, is your mom gonna live with you? No. Where does your mom live? She lives in India. I go, then why do you care?
Because it
It's
is
the
important
same.
for her
I don't think.
to to.
But it just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
You know, here's
But-
somebody that's
but
never
for
gonna
them-
see this house that's pontificating about where the kitchen should be. That just seems insane
Okay,
to me.
but
But to her,
But to her
it
it
was
is.
everything.
you have to also realize,
they are the one buying it.
the community that we live in, it's a very multicultural
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
So if you're in this business and you're in this community, you better learn a little bit of somebody's culture as you go along. So with time, people get, if you're brand new, you will get to learn that. You have to know a little bit. I mean, I still struggle with, are you from India or Pakistan? Or get corrected. If I say, oh, you're from India, it's like, I'm from Pakistan.
Cause they are the major.
Well, you know, somebody who don't live there and didn't come from there.
It's the
It's
same
like-
with the Japanese and the Koreans.
But I
You know,
never
they hate
asked
each other
that. I
for
never asked
obvious
for this
reasons.
reason, because I always get scared of asking any of that ethnic thing. Because they are here to buy the house, and I ask them, is it important to them? If they say yes, and if the house is amazing and I think they're losing it just because of direction, I always say, see if you can move the front door somewhere else. Because I actually sometimes get a contractor, because I deal with mostly buyers and they always have this issue. My home personally, I also tell them, is in a south direction, even though Indians don't buy a home in south direction. I said, just to forgive it from my side, me, my sister, always somehow living in south, and I never checked even before when I bought, but if it is still important to you, let's see if there's a way we can bring the door to somewhere else.
Shelley, can it be that that's for the front door, right?
Yeah,
You're talking about, but what happens?
kitchen and all.
What?
No, you're saying kitchen.
No,
Sorry.
what happens if that's not the door you use all the time?
And I
For
tell them
example,
to.
my house,
Yeah.
I don't ever come through my front door.
Yes.
Hardly anybody comes into
Everybody
my
comes
front
from their
door.
garages.
We go through the garages on the other side
Yeah,
of the
but
house.
that, for them, that doesn't matter. It is, I tell them that in India, when the homes are built, the garages are not in the front, so you are not entering from the garages. You are entering from the front door, so that makes sense there. But here, you're always entering from, but it's not about argument. It's about what they believe in, and you cannot change it. You can slowly maneuver them.
After they get rejected a couple of times, or, you know, and then they
It
might
has to
change
do
their
with
mind.
Vatsu, it has to do with all the different.
Actually, it does make a sense, actually, when you see it, because sunlight
Mm-hmm.
comes in those areas more, and where you are living the most.
Right.
Well,
I
no,
would
so-
want a kitchen
So,
facing the south just so it's bright.
Exactly.
sun.
so let me correct something. When I said, when I asked somebody, are they from India or Pakistan, that was just a conversational
Yeah,
piece.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not something that you will actually go out and
Right.
say to a client.
Yeah.
So let me clarify that right up front. I was just using that as an example, okay?
So, you know, it's very different from culture to culture. And in Chinese, I'm not talking about today, right? They are building big building, 30-story building, whatever direction, right? So when they build, they're always facing south,
Facing south.
facing south.
So the Asian culture is south.
All the, because there are a lot of land, right? They build, for example, this is south. They build, the Chinese build all the, houses up to houses all the way facing south.
Facing south, okay.
Yeah, so the
That's
culture
good to
is
know.
different.
That's
Yeah,
good
because
to
of the
know.
light, the
Yeah,
sunlight.
and whereas the Indian people, they want facing north or
Yes.
east.
I know, yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
or because they east, because the sun rises from the east, so they want the first rays to
Yeah,
That's
concentrate
what I
here.
heard.
there is a logic to it, it's
Yeah.
not blindly following something, there's a logic to it, that how the sun rays come in first.
I don't know the logic, but I know.
Yeah.
Isn't
that's
it,
what I
isn't it true
I should
that
read
the
more.
house that's facing,
He has to ask his wife everything.
So are you
Come on.
Indian? Are you Indian?
No,
is it true
You
that
cannot ask somebody if they're Indian. You say, what culture are you from?
What
What land?
culture are you?
Are you Indian?
You don't even ask that.
I'm the red.
This is being recorded, so we
I'm
gotta be
a
politically
Uh,
correct.
Isn't it true
I
that the
think-
house is facing south? It's better for the
Better.
heat
He's
and the
Native
cool in
American.
the house, right?
I have no idea.
I heard somebody talking
He's
about that
joking.
one
Red
time.
Indian.
Whatever.
Okay, very good. Thank you for telling me.
So, if I could put
He
pin
jokes a lot.
into this,
I'm sorry?
I've hit into this
Uh-huh.
thing. I studied not professionally, but as a hobby. I
Study
studied
what?
Oh, you
Vastu?
did?
Shastra, yes.
Okay.
So how they face north and all that stuff. It works, and it all depends on the culture. So certain cultures in South India, they prefer south, facing south.
Is it?
Yeah, because it doesn't depend on, now, because it's all over the YouTube, because they saw the YouTube, now they think it should facing south.
Yeah.
It all has a purpose, so now, actually, if you really want to do that, they actually check your birth chart.
Oh.
How your planet sits
Right.
and what house and all that.
Okay.
Right, but
Then-
it's total math.
I know.
happening
Yeah,
there,
exactly.
yeah.
Then they kind of calculate if it's good for you, south or north and all that stuff. Personally, I prefer south.
Why?
My house is south,
Why?
and it
It's more
always
like-
works out for me because
Facing.
the planets and all that. And a lot of people think, oh, it should be this way and that way. Not just that, then you have to calculate the number of your house, and if the number that doesn't match, then you could put it in a certain direction or certain way. Not just that, then you could change the color. If even if the house, let's say my house is not compatible with the south, then I could change the front door color.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay,
So
it's
there-
like in feng shui, if you have it, they
Yes.
have like
Feng
step
shui.
down, so
It-
what we would do is put mirrors on opposite ends of the,
Yeah, particular color.
What particular color you're talking?
But again, it
It depends
depends
upon
on
that individual.
your birth chart.
That individual.
I know that numbers
It's very
added up
complicated.
and something like
Right,
that.
right.
Indian
So,
stuff.
yes, 5, 6 and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No.
it's a very, it's a science, it's literally a science.
Right, right.
Because it involves numbers and all that stuff. So the key is that for us, right now, the takeaway is that you need to understand, instead of me telling them, oh, you're Indian, or I'm assuming, oh, he's Indian, let me show him a house which facing, no, don't assume that.
Yeah.
The way I do it, ask him.
Yeah.
Right?
You usually
Yeah,
should
you
ask
know,
them.
I don't ask because I feel that once I open the can of worms, they'll start to do
Absolutely.
that.
Right.
I
Why
don't
should
do
you ask
that.
that
Until when I see them doing things, then I
Yeah.
said, oh, are you looking for a particular, this thing?
Direction.
Yeah.
Then they'll say, no, it's not that important, then I let it be, because I will
Yeah.
not talk
Yeah,
about
so
it.
talk about like what do they want, what are their requirements.
Mhm.
Some people, they don't care, like, oh, that's just mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
But that's fine, if it's mumbo jumbo to you, it's mumbo jumbo to me.
Right.
I keep my opinion to myself.
Right.
It's really coming back to what you say, you got to listen to your
I
client.
would buy a house which I like. I would go for that direction.
Yeah, so-
I like a particular house, I would buy it.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Oh, what the heck,
But again,
direction and all.
that's your opinion, right? So somebody
Yeah.
else
Yeah,
must be
and
more.
like you were mentioning, everybody goes from the garage. I've never gone to the garage.
See?
No, but it's
Never,
just-
assuming
never.
this.
it's
Wow.
just the way the
Always
houses
from
are
the front door.
Wow,
designed.
so you park your car?
From the
Huh?
You come out the garage and go to the front door?
Always come out and go in
That's interesting.
from the front door.
Really?
Absolutely.
And
What
then how
happens
do you
in the
lock the
rain?
garage?
So you park your
What's when it's
car.
raining and you have
Excuse me.
groceries,
Lock.
and a kid, and a
You park
dog.
your car inside the garage.
I don't.
Oh, there you go.
that
There
makes
is-
sense.
there
Okay.
is-
That
there
explains
are-
it.
There are
That
two cars,
explains.
there are two cars already sitting in there.
Okay,
with
okay,
one
fair
house.
enough.
Alright.
Then it
Alright.
makes
Can I
Of course
finish
they
up?
agree with that.
I'm
The
kinda like
probative
stuck in the middle.
questions.
I know,
Yes.
okay, let him finish, let him finish.
Okay, so again, it comes back to not just culture and individual, right? You gotta listen.
Absolutely, man.
Right, so now coming to, I study a little bit of feng shui, right, a little bit of Chinese culture. They love number 8. On
Mhm.
the other side, Indians not cool with it, right?
What number do they?
Number 8, their favorite is 7.
Me too, I
Well,
like
lucky for all of
Let me-
us.
Yeah.
let me tell you.
But again, that's
Gambling.
all
Now,
BS.
let me tell you, now in my family, they love number 8 because they say it's infinity.
Yes, so I was coming to
And
that.
they're
So
right.
that's what I'm saying. It's all really depends.
It's
I
very
love
personal.
number 8
I
personally.
love number 8.
So if you really think about it, and they have the way they say Indians have so many gods. Yeah, they do. 33 million gods.
Million.
Yes,
Million?
millions.
Dogs?
Okay.
Gods.
Gods.
Oh.
Things
Uh,
to worship.
They have,
That's so
no,
fun.
it's not the gods, it's the number. So, they, actually, if you really go study them, and they actually believe in one. So one, everything, all these 33 millions originated from one. So one is the one entity. So coming back to number 8, so number 1 is the prime god, which is Shiva. So number 2 is wife. And number 8 is their son, which is Ganesha. Ganesha is, so they're saying that you don't have to pray any of the 33 million gods. If you pray to one god, not even Shiva,
Ganesha.
their son, Ganesha, it will go to all. So number 8 becomes extremely important for them.
Just like Chinese, we like.
Right. So now,
I love it.
coming to the planet part, I'll finish it. I know it's getting wild. So number 8 is, so now there's certain people, they don't follow this God stuff, they follow the planets. So now all these planets, people love sun, moons, and all that. Now number 8 is Shani, is Saturn. People don't like Saturn because it makes you work hard. Or
Why
you
make it seven?
infinity, like I say, the round and the circle. It's a long story.
Oh, okay.
So number 1, the sun, all that stuff. So, and people love sun, but sun in Indian culture is a curse. But
Really?
yes, because it burns.
What about the moon?
Can't live without
The
it.
moon is
You cannot live without the sun.
The moon is
Exactly.
number 2?
it's a curse because it burns. It's
I wanna
separate.
know if the moon is number 2.
No,
What
no.
about moon?
Moon is something else.
Oh.
Moon is, it's not a planet.
Cause we have a big moon last night.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Oh,
beautiful.
isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful.
But
Yeah,
the
it was
sun's
gorgeous.
not a
Full
planet
moon.
either.
I know
Yeah,
that.
but
Sun's a star.
It's a
it's
star.
Yes.
but it's the center of everything. But the point is that it's basically the creation of the thing. The sun has to burn itself. It serves. So it's always in pain to serve. So that's why people don't like to work, right? They don't want to serve. So it automatically occurs. So the beautiful number is 7 because it's a Venus. It's beauty. It's money. It's
Okay.
cash.
What
It's
about
bling
9?
bling.
What about 9?
9 is they're also scared because it's a war. It's a
Yeah, you tell me about one then. One.
number 1 is sun.
So that means no.
So the authority.
And number 3 and 6.
The 6 is number 3 is Jupiter. So that's also, it's good. It's a wisdom. It's knowledge. It gives you a lot of that, but there's a problem.
Oh Lord.
There's always the other side, right?
Yeah,
Every
yeah,
coin
yeah.
has 2 sides.
Yeah.
So the problem with it is
Other
that
side of the coin.
it doesn't take care of itself or its family.
It needs a mom.
No, it always take care of others. So therefore it kind of loses home. So there's a curse for that.
Okay.
Even Venus has its own problem, right? So all this stuff. So what I putting into this, because it's really getting wild. Greeks came out with that through this Indian thing, astrology, and they took it to the next level, and that's where it kind of got all wild. Moon. So if you have to go back and mumbo jumbo all that stuff, moon is the key, not the sun, not the Saturn. Moon is the absolute.
Different than Chinese,
Key.
very different.
Yes.
Very different than
Yeah.
Chinese. I think that we should have a class like that. I like to learn the culture.
You need to
I
have a
thought
couple
this-
hours because I could go on.
I agree,
Can you
Lita.
make it 1 hour?
Sure.
I love to have
Well,
that.
we'll have to have it on different cultures. We have to have it on the Indian side one time,
Right,
and the
right.
Chinese
The
side.
Chinese I can't tell.
How about the Irish?
Yeah.
On the Irish side.
Can we
Love
talk
potatoes
about
and
Yeah.
beer.
if you give a lecture on Chinese?
I
Chinese
don't know
culture.
much.
You don't know much. Do you
I've
like-
been here forever.
You like me?
I can tell a little bit, but not, I don't listen to this.
So the bottom line is that just don't assume, and a lot of people,
Yes.
the buyer I'm working, actually the last buyer, I'll end with this, I promise.
I love to have a class like that.
okay, we heard you, we heard you.
So the last one, I think everybody know in the office, is a lady I'm working with, highly educated. She's
Right.
looking for a house here. She has a cash money, but the house need to be more. And the backyard, not just the front yard, the backyard needs to be in a certain configuration. So we look at the house, and her priest in India look at the map and tell her if it's good or bad. That's how deep that is.
Do you?
Well, okay, like
Do
she
you have a
sends the
priest?
picture to her priest and then.
I
Yeah,
am
they
the
do
priest.
that.
Everybody have a
Yeah.
priest to
I
live
am
in
the
the house.
priest.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have, I
My
had a
priest
client
name,
that did
trust
that
me.
too, but they had a Vastu
Yeah.
guru,
My
and
priest
it
had never
depends
seen
upon
it.
which guru you pick, they have their own set of rules.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not universal,
Yeah.
it's just a, I
No,
think
they
it's
all have a
ridiculous.
rule,
You get the
but
entire
each,
dog, they
each
say that they have a
individual
priest.
is, have
If
their
you don't
own
have a
little
priest,
unique
you
configuration.
But the thing is, okay, just like, there is one time that I have an open house. It's a beautiful home that I listed, very pretty. And in the neighborhood, there are a few of them. I talked to the agent, they have multiple offer, I don't. They said that because you're phasing.
Okay, what?
The
You
phasing,
what?
south.
Phasing.
South face.
My house is much better than the other two, but they sold right away, I don't. I take me 2 weeks to sell it. So it's an excellent home. And, you know what? One day, there is a lady coming in when I was doing the open house, an Indian, around 30, 40, that lady, she closed my front door and put the compass on, I know exactly what she's doing. I let, I'm just watching her. And she, instead, she put an offer on the other house. My house is much better, but she would rather
A lot of them
not
come
facing
with the
south.
compass on their phone,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
check everything.
Yeah,
But I think, Zillow gives you the direction now, right?
I think so.
One of the sites gives you the
Yeah.
direction.
I'm seeing it in MLS, and
Ah.
I'm not putting it in
Well,
MLS.
yeah.
You can put it, you can put a direction in there.
Oh, I've seen it in confidential comments and whatever,
Oh.
I'm not putting that in,
I
no.
know.
Mm-mm.
So with her, I think the last conversation I had with, I think it was really, really good. And she felt sorry for me, cause I'm like, no, this is my job, it's all good. And, what
Because
she
she's being so
said.
difficult?
No, she's super nice, I mean, so nice.
Yeah, but the belief in.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she thinks that, like she's giving me a hard time, and I kind of feel comfortable. And she asked me about, cause I shared a little bit about me, like what I did and all that stuff. So she asked me, like, so based on the conversation, what do you think? And she loved it, what I said.
What'd you say?
I don't even know, but I don't know exactly what I said, but this is what I said. Blah, 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 this all works, but my beliefs in a certain deity or certain God, if you bring that picture or whatever that is in your house, it doesn't matter. Whichever direction it faces, it'll all turn out to be okay. Cause I have faith in this thing, it'll make it right. I mean, it was a long conversation. It kind of clicked for her, and now she is open to other,
Has she looked at a lot of things, Harv?
yes.
Cause one of the first things I wanna know is how long have you been looking? Have you
Just-
written any offers, and why do you think they haven't been accepted? Because
Well-
then you can get people to change their motivation if
Yeah.
you have that track record.
Yeah, see, she has the money, she's not the really, like, it turns out. I don't like the course, it's definitely not my opinion.
Was that the lady that came to Myra's this
No.
from the other side?
No.
She was, okay.
No.
I thought
Yes, Myers listing, that's
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
the lady
No,
from the
one
other
over
side.
here.
Yeah,
The
she's
one
a
over
neighbor.
here.
Mhm.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're still looking.
Familiar.
So, we put an offer, but, it just didn't work out. But now she's open to other things.
Excellent.
With her, the decision maker is her dad, which is also
Oh.
awesome. And not even dad, it's the
The
priest.
priest, man.
Yeah.
But she's,
That-
she's not young.
That's that.
She's not,
The
So
priest is
dad's gonna
that's
die
that.
sooner.
that's
Then
what she,
later.
and
For me,
mom,
yeah.
yeah.
I think
And
we
that's
should
why it
all-
has
Are
to
they
be,
living together?
yeah, they are.
Okay, cause she was friends with the neighbors. She was a very nice lady. Wasn't she all really dressed up beautifully?
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm sorry, I think we're going
Yeah,
off course
yeah,
here.
yeah.
We've gone way
Yeah.
off course
Yeah.
on our little roundtable session.
I know.
But very educational
Yes.
at the same point. At the same time, it was very educational. So thank you, Rob, for sharing. Thank you,
Thank
Kay, for
you.
sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley,
You.
you for your input.
Nameless,
Huh?
nameless.
No.
No.
For sharing,
All of us
Shirley,
sharing,
Anita,
yeah.
Dan, for sharing, but the two main, stars of this morning was Kay, question and Hobbs input, and of course Claudia, thank you so much for
Thank
the
you so
insight
much.
on the mortgage side of things, and sharing what the FHA are doing, I think that was great knowledge to
Yeah.
hear. So if there's anything else for the good of the order, Michelle.
Yeah, I wanna just speak to Lena's point about the class. When I
Lena?
started out 22 years ago, I asked for that class.
What's that?
Cultural, how to work within
Okay,
different
but,
cultures.
To be honest with you, we did put on a global series, and all of that was in the series.
Who we,
Moi.
okay, but I wasn't here then. I was,
Yeah.
no, 22 years ago. I've only been here about 15, 16 years. When I first started out-
Give me a year.
2004,
Okay.
2003,
Then, yeah, then you were here when it was done,
but not at this office.
this office.
I was at Brand X.
Okay, but anyway, I'm just letting you know, we have put those series on before.
Yeah.
I can do that again, but again, another lineup, and it may not be on a Tuesday morning.
I think it should come from CAR and be
And-
statewide, frankly.
I know, but they,
Yeah, see that.
I do. We need to learn better how to work with one another when we have
They will-
differences of
they do-
opinions and
they
views.
They do put on sessions at their meetings, their state meetings, you can always go in and find something happening with those. And most of the time, they'll tell you, one of the key things is buying that book, Kiss, Bow, and Shake Hands. If you haven't read that book,
I never
buy
heard
the
of
book,
it.
What's the name?
It's really good.
Kiss, Bow, and Shake Hands.
Kiss, bow,
Kiss,
shake.
bow, and shake hands.
I have it if you guys
Kiss,
wanna borrow it.
bow,
Really
shake
good.
hands.
I'll buy
I
it, don't
wanna
lend
borrow.
books.
They
never come back
You
again.
can get it, I think you can get it as an ebook now. But it's a very good book on culture and teaching you about different cultures. You can also, if you took the At Home with Diversity, designation, you can also learn about the different cultures as well. And that's a designation which everybody in the Saturday Hill should have, At Home with Diversity.
Can I think in listening to this whole conversation today, and, being just so American, that we learned growing up that our government is supposed to separate church and state. And when I'm hearing that this is about your spirituality and your gods and whatever it is that's making those decisions, I think that for me, it's hard to understand that because it was driven in me since I was so young that one should not affect the other. So it's a mindset that I have to shift to and respect. However, it's a culture thing, not, it's difficult because that to me is the way it's supposed to be. And
Yes.
hearing the culture thing, it's like, okay, I have to completely shift and just respect
Again.
that that's what it is.
Even though you're in Asia, it'd be great if you took that At Home with Diversity course. That is a very good course as
You
well.
know, but I think it's a reality check. Because just like in my neighborhood, whoever move out, American move out, Chinese move out, Indian moving in. So, we are in the base,
Perfect.
Because we have, which is diversity and inclusion.
I know.
And we don't wanna get in trouble because this is being recorded. So we have to be careful with whose names you're calling and the way we speak.
so, basically, I think learning other cultures is important.
Yes.
So we have to learn it. So it doesn't mean that I believe what other culture believe. I don't have a God. I believe in only myself.
Same here.
And so it doesn't mean that I respect everybody's culture. I respect everybody's God. But I don't believe doesn't mean anything to anyone. But I think that we have to learn it and to
So-
adjust to what we have to do.
Alright, I will work on that series. So now, right now, we have a Monday stuff going on, we have Friday stuff going on, so that will have to be a Wednesday stuff.
It has to have
Can I-
food involved in it.
Yes, I'd be
Yeah.
interested,
Yeah.
that's good.
So,
What is that?
religion
I don't,
can
but what is the topic?
always
It's the contest.
happen in all.
What is
Right.
it?
I know that, but when?
Okay, can I close the meeting if that's okay,
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
else, and then people can chat
Yeah.
on their own?
Sure.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, have a great week, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, it was
Good
a very
job,
good
Barbara.
conversation.
Yes.
Very good
Yeah.
Does
conversation.
anybody wanna look at my listing?
I've seen it,
No, okay. Thank you.
thanks so much,
Yeah,
Dave,
are you driving that way?
Yeah,
You're going straight? I
Yeah.
will follow you.
Sure.
Run that
Yeah.
way.
Brookville.
One transit.
So I'll go down to Paseo Padre Parkway, take a right, and then we'll go to Tamayo, take a left,
Okay.
follow Tamayo, Purcell, take a right.
I think it's,
Okay.
it's coming for later.
What's your name?
Gaggy.
Gagan,
Yeah.
nice to meet you. You're the second person I've known with the name Gagan.
Yes.
What's your last name?
It's an awesome.
It is nice.
My last name is Forde. A very famous.
K-O-L-I?
K-O-H-L-I.